All right, so this is going to be a review of Assassin's Creed from 2016, directed by Justin Kurzel. I never ended up seeing the movie and reviewing it back when it first came out, even though I do like these games. I have played a number of them. I haven't played them all. I don't know anybody who's played them all. There's too many. But I like the game series, but I was already kind of worried because it's a video game adaptation and whatever. But I heard it was really bad. So today, I watched it for the first time earlier today, and yeah, it is very bad. So in this, it's actually about Cal Lynch, played by Michael Fassbender, not Desmond Miles, a different character. It starts off with him being a boy, and he walks in on his mom dead, and she's been killed by his dad, who's in an assassin's uniform. He tells him some stuff he doesn't understand, at least doesn't understand yet. Your blood is not your own, something like that, something around that. And some people pull up in trucks and things, and he ends up running away. So then it cuts to him being grown, it's 30 years later, and he's in jail and about to get lethal injection for killing a pimp, something we do not get context on. So he's about to, what he does, he gets his lethal injection, he's supposed to die. But instead, he wakes up in this facility. He wakes up at Abstergo. And he talks to Sophia Ricken, played by Marion Cotillard. And she tells him that they're trying to cure the world of violence and something like that. She gives him some kind of story. Him and the other people in this facility, they are descendants of assassins. And the Abstergo, which is actually run by the Templars, want to use them to go back into the past. I believe it was 1492 in Spain, and they get to live out their ancestors' lives, or at least the specific points that they want to see, so they can find the Apple of Eden, which they can then use to take away mankind's free will, which is basically the Templars' goal. So he's there, and they're pretty much forcing him to do it. But then there's also this storyline of, oh well, you have to willingly do it, or your body will shut down, and your body will be negatively affected by it. But then he's also talking to the other descendants of the assassins that are trying to tell him, like, hey, don't show them where the apple is, and don't betray the creed, and things like that. That's basically what the movie's about. All right, so we're gonna get to all the things that don't work about this in a second, which there are a lot. But the main thing that I think that does work about this is, I think they did an okay job with the assassin part of this, like actually going back and in the Animus and being the assassin ancestor of Cal. I didn't even mention is Aguilar. And I don't like the way they did the Animus, right? Where it's like this harness that lifts them up in the air, and there's dust all around that looks like shit. And I don't like the way that they do it in this. It's much better in the game where you just lay down. But I did like the action for the most part. There's too many cuts during the action, I think, but for the most part, like, it's kind of got the Assassin's Creed aesthetic, right? The parkour and things, even though the effects are bad. Whenever they have to do like one of these big jumps and things, the effects don't look good. It's not believable. It takes me out of it every time. But the action is okay, right? And it does kind of feel like the assassin segments in the games, which there probably should have been more of that, which is majority of the games. It's so bad. Where do I even begin? So we can start off with the acting. So the acting, other than whenever Michael Fassbender is like losing his mind and singing, I'm crazy, and all this other stuff, which we'll get back to Michael Fassbender. Other than when he's doing that, everybody is pretty flat in their delivery. Everybody is emotionless. Everybody is like at a very low level, and they pretty much stay there. Anything, there could be a big thing going on, and and they don't seem like they care all that much at all. They never really like speak up or raise their voices. It is like some of the most like just stiff and like nothing delivery, and the dialogue is terrible. So that it's just a really bad mix of that.
Don't mess with me. I feel different now.
Why the aggression?
I'm an aggressive person. What kind of prison is this?
You got actors that I've seen be good and other. I mean, you got Jeremy Irons. He's Dr. Ricken. He's running Abstergo. I didn't mention it before. He's the father of Sophia. And, you know, there's back and forth between him and Michael Fassbender. He's not all that good. He's doing pretty much the same thing where it's like, he's just giving out the line. It doesn't really, he doesn't have emotion and stuff like that. I mean, the movie is so emotionless that even the scene where young Cal walks in on his mom dead and his father standing in an assassin's uniform, clearly being the one that just killed his mother, he doesn't yell, he doesn't scream, he doesn't cry. He's just staring at his mom's dead body. And it's like, okay, maybe you can get away with it being like, oh, he was in shock and just didn't know what to do or what to say. Everybody is at like a really low emotionless level that just makes it all so boring and makes the dialogue feel even worse.
Why did you pull him?
I had to. We have to keep him healthy. Earn his confidence. And I know he'll lead us to it.
Push him.
That's not how the Animus works.
So Michael Fassbender, I will give him credit that he does have more emotion than the other characters, specifically whenever he's losing his mind, right? Yeah, but it's embarrassing. Like even just when they wake him up after he gets his lethal injection, he wakes up in Abstergo. They just let him walk through the facility and he's like falling over and stuff like that. It looks fucking ridiculous. The scenes where he's in his room and he's discovering what is basically the bleeding effect from the games, which I don't think they mention in this, or actually like give a name to it. But after going in the Animus and living out your ancestors' lives and doing what they did, it starts to bleed over into you being able to also do those things when you're out the Animus. So he starts being able to do these moves that Aguilar could do, and he starts having visions. Obviously, that's also in the game, but that also looks looks ridiculous. And then, as if to make it, as if to just add to it and just really, really hit home with the like embarrassment of Michael Fassbender being in this movie, he starts to sing. He's like, I'm crazy. He does like a whole thing where he's singing when they're about to put him back in the Animus. It is so funny.
I'm crazy, crazy for feeling so lonely. 'Cause I'm crazy.
Listen to me.
Crying.
You have to stay with Aguilar.
Crazy for crying.
Stay in sync with him or it could be dangerous.
And I'm crazy for loving you.
The movie looks like shit. Like, obviously, you have this sterile-looking facility, but you can still shoot it in a way that looks more, it's more interesting to look at. That looks bad and bland. Outside of that, like even the assassin stuff, which I like, that looks ugly, and along with it, the effects are bad, like that, like the bird like flying around in the past. It all looks really bad. It just looks bad, and the effects really add to that, like the parkour stuff looking really fake, when they're running around and things like that. But the worst of it is whenever he's in the Animus, which once again, I don't like them putting him in like this harness or whatever, but whenever they put him in the Animus, right, it cuts back to him and he's doing whatever, I keep forgetting, Aguilar is doing, but he's, killing people in the past and things like that. And then you can see Cal on the outside and he's killing people and stuff like that, but it's a bunch of basically dust all around him to represent what's happening in the past, what he's seeing. And they can also see it too. They're like recording it. It looks horrible. It is ugly as fuck. I never liked that. And I'm thinking to myself, why not just do what they did in the game and just have him lay down or whatever? And like the idea is like they can monitor what's going on, through the Animus and all that. The movie is just messy. It's just messy. Like it starts off with the kid seeing the mom dead, and it just cuts to him being in jail. And it's like, okay, what's he in jail for? And then it's a while before they're like, oh, he was getting lethal injection for killing a pimp. And it's like, okay, there's got to be backstory to that, right? Like what happened around that? And they don't really say. And it feels like okay, he needs to be being killed by lethal injection, right? So they can, take him to this facility, and he's at a really low point, and it also establishes like, hey, the assassins, they're just like naturally violent. That's a part that goes into it that like goes down throughout their descendants, throughout the lineage, basically. So you have that, and they make sure to give you just enough so that you can see that, oh, there's something kind of positive about it. Like, oh, he killed someone and he was about to die for it. But we killed a pimp, though. So the idea is like, okay, well, the pimp is a terrible person. He was a pimp. You have this facility and, like I said, everybody's talking like this and kind of emotionless and it's boring. And they're giving terrible lines. But he meets with the other assassins and they're just in the facility, right? They've already been used, right? The ones that are not, messed up from, getting in the animus and not like accepting it or whatever's going on. They're there and they're like, oh, don't betray us and things like that. It's like, bro, he don't know y'all. He don't know what's going on. And they're just immediately like, don't betray us. And they're trying to figure out what kind of guy you are. Almost acting like these are going to be actual characters. They're not. Like, there are no characters in this movie other than Cal, Sophia, Dr. Rickon. That's kind of it. I mean, even in the past, Aguilar barely has a character. Like, he has this thing where he's, I guess, in love with this other assassin, but they choose the creed over their love for each other. And, he ends up not doing that because he's about to kill someone when they're about to get the apple. And he ends up sparing that person because her life is in danger instead of just killing them and choosing the creed over. I don't remember her name. They barely go into really their romance and things, but the characters are nothing. And these other assassins in the facility, it's like, why are they still here if you've gotten everything you need from them? And they seem defiant against you. It's like, well, how many times did you put them in the animus if they're still able to like move around and do stuff, right? How are they not negatively affected from being put in the animus and not accepting it? It's like the reason is because we need them to be part of this big, action scene that happens with all of them at the end. That's the reason, but it really doesn't make sense for them to just all be sitting around. The whole story of, in the past is that the Templars, they kidnapped a prince from this area that had, I guess, risen against the kingdom and this holy war that's going on. And so they kidnapped the prince, and the idea is that, okay, we can use that as a bargaining chip to get the apple of Eden from that ruler in that area. And that then we'll have the apple of Eden, and we can use it for our evil plans to take away free will from mankind and things like that. That's basically what's going on there. But there's so little actual story going on in the past and character development and things like I said. But it's really just him getting put into it. The idea of like, oh, he's starting to get visions. He's starting to learn things from the bleeding effect. And the whole idea of like, oh, you have to accept it or you'll, lose your functions or whatever. He's about to do a leap of faith in it. And I'm thinking, oh shit, a leap of faith. I mean, it doesn't look very good because of the effects, but it's a leap of faith from the video game. And then right before he's about to like fall into a haystack or something, he starts to lose it and he gets desynchronized. They do one later on, and it's just so they can break the harness for the animus and things like that. But it's basically him just being put into it, right? There's the whole idea of like, oh, you can, you need to turn against the assassins after what your dad did to your mom and things like that. He talks to his dad and finds out the mom willingly, gave her life so they can protect the creed. But his dad didn't, because his dad is there and he talks to him. His dad is like, nah, I couldn't kill you. That's the reason why. And I should have killed you so that we wouldn't, so that you wouldn't have to go through this. It's like, yeah, that would have made sense. I don't know why you killed your wife or, Cal's mom, so she wouldn't be put in the animus and have to deal with all this. But didn't kill yourself and your son. You let your son run off and then you just got captured. And so you went through it. It's like, that doesn't make sense. It's all really leading to Cal making this decision of, actually willingly going into the animus to find the apple, and the other assassins not liking that. But then while he's getting the apple and finding out where it is, he does a leap of faith and destroys the thing, which I don't see the point of that, which even after destroying it, he's still able to see the past and see where Aguilar brought the apple of Eden, which he gave it to Christopher Columbus. I would say that's ridiculous, but that's ridiculous shit that would happen in an Assassin's Creed game. Like, there's plenty of historical figures that do all kinds of fictional shit in the game, so it's like, all right, fuck it, whatever. That's where the apple ended up, is with Christopher Columbus. and so the Templars get what they want or get what they need. The other assassins in the facility end up rising up and going against the people in Abstergo. But the thing is, they're able to do it because they just take the assassin, like smoke bombs and things like that are in the facility, because they keep them there. And they're still in great condition too, which makes no sense. Like the hidden blades and stuff. That was another thing. Like they put the hidden blades on Cal so that he could go into the Animus and do whatever. And it's like, how are those still in good condition after all these years? So okay, and obviously that's not something that was needed with the Animus in the games, but whatever. Yeah, they just made that a thing so that those assassin weaponry and things would be in that facility, so they can use them for this final fight where they rise up and things. And Dr. Rickon and Sophia, they get out of there, but they got they know where the apple is. They go to get it, and then it ends with Cal going and killing Dr. Rickon, which I actually kind of like that scene. That scene was all right. Him just coming in and cutting his neck. Other than it just looks like he did this he just ran the knife across the neck, and then a red line just popped up. That's about all it looks like. It's not all that great, but anyway, it's embarrassing, and it's one of those things where it's like, I've played the games, or a good amount of them, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, I get that you want to change some things, but this is, a different person, it's a different story, it's a different assassin from the past, right? If you couldn't make a story that's even somewhat, comparable in quality to the story that's already in the game, why not just use that? You're adapting the games, just adapt that story. Right? It's just weird. You replaced it with a story that's much worse and does not work. So why not just do what was in the game? Why not just have it be Desmond? Why not just have him be taken and forced into the Animus to go back in time as Altair and take out targets pretty much one by one until he's able to get that the Apple of Eden and find out the truth and things like that. I don't get that. Why do this story? Why change the Animus? Why it doesn't make sense to me, and it doesn't work. Yeah, like the assassin stuff is enjoyable to a certain point, but most of it is the modern day stuff. The modern day stuff is ass. It is so fucking horrible. So I'm actually I'm actually gonna give this my lowest rate. I'm gonna give it complete shit. This is completely horrible, and it's pointless. It really is. It really is, right? If you're not gonna do the game or any version of the game, really, you're just kind of doing your own thing and just having things from the game, and like, what's the point then? Anyway, yeah, this is atrocious. So yeah, like I said, complete shit. That's Assassin's Creed. Poor Michael Fassbender. I thought that when I reviewed The Snowman. Poor Michael Fassbender, man.